Good morning. My name is Mike Decker, and I would like to thank Tammy Lucero and the County Commissioners for allowing me to speak this morning to you on behalf of GASCO Energy. What I'd like to do is to go ahead and kind of give you a brief overview of GASCO and its projects in this morning's presentation. Let's see. There we go. And of course, the normal forward-looking statement, which will just breeze right through here. As many of you know, GASCO is a Denver-based oil and gas company. We have two main projects going on right now. One is here within the Uintah Basin, and the other is in the San Joaquin Basin of California. But I want to make it very clear is that the Uintah Basin is our bread and butter. This is where our production is. This is where all our wellbores are. This is where our field office is. So the Uintah Basin is very important to GASCO Energy. We currently have about 120,000 gross acres out here, of which we have 133 producing wells. And in the past couple of years, we've produced a net to GASCO about 4.5 BCF and about 9 billion cubic feet total. I'm kind of pleased to be up here because I feel like we're the little brother with a lot of other big brothers and sisters around us, the Anadarkos, the Questars, the Bill Barretts, and so on. So I'm just really pleased to be part of this presentation. GASCO was formed in 1999 with $3 million worth of seed capital. Why and how did we pick the Uintah Basin? Well, I think it's best said and reported by the Potential Gas Committee out of the Colorado School of Mines, which I'm pleased to be a proud member of. And in their most recent report, dated December 31st of 2010, they determined that there was over 50 trillion cubic feet of gas of conventional and tight sand resource within the Uintah Basin. That is #1 in the Rockies for that type of resource. In addition to that, they determined that there's over 60 trillion cubic feet of shale gas potential within the Uintah Basin. That's also #1 in the Rockies. So if you combine those two, the Uintah Basin has more than 110 trillion cubic feet of natural gas resource within the Uintah Basin. That's more than the greater Green River Basin of Wyoming. That's more than the San Juan Basin of New Mexico. It is a tremendous asset, and that's not even counting the liquids, of which Bill Barrett and others are developing, Newfield and so on. That's another resource, and I'm sure you're going to get quite a bit more detail on that. At this point in time, GASCO not only has the acreage for natural gas development, but we have about 11,000 net acres for Green River oil production as well. If you look at where our acreage position is in the yellow, we're located on the west side of the Green River. We're due west of Anadarko's position in Greater Natural Buttes and south of Newfield's Monument Butte Field and Bill Barrett and Barry's Brundage Canyon operations. What are we developing? When we first began developing this back in 2001, we were looking at just the shallow formations, the Wasatch, the Mesa Verde. We were looking at a gas column from about 6,000 feet down to 9,000 feet. At that point in time, we acknowledged that there was also deeper potential in the Blackhawk Formation. So we put geologists to study that and spent 2 to 3 man-years trying to better understand the Blackhawk Formation, such that in about 2004, 2005, we began drilling the Blackhawk Formation, which is also a very tremendously rich natural gas resource. But that took us down to about 12,500 feet. And it was about 2007 that, shale gas really took off, and we began looking at the deeper horizons, primarily the Mancos Shale. GASCO currently has about 22 wells that have penetrated different portions of the Mancos Shale. But that takes us down to 15,000 feet. So in a time span of approximately 6 years, we tripled the natural gas resource column that we were developing. We're now looking at a gas column from 6,000 feet down to 15,000 feet for developing. What does that look like across just our acreage position, let alone everybody else's? In 2007, we commissioned Netherlands Sewell to do a resource study for GASCO. They looked at our approved reserves, our probable, our possible, and resource potential. On just our acreage position, they determined that we had over 200 billion cubic feet of approved natural gas reserves. From the probable category, we had more than 500 billion cubic feet. Impossible, 2.2 trillion. And then finally, in the resource category, we had more than 5.6 trillion cubic feet of resource potential. If you combine all that together, it gives you a number of greater than 9 trillion cubic feet just on our position alone. And the interesting thing is when the study was done, the Mancos Shale was only being developed, it was just begun to be developed, it was in its infancy. And so Netherland, Sewell only gave us about a half a BCF for the Mancos Shale alone. We now have full Mancos penetrations that show we can get double that. We can get at least 1 billion cubic feet out of a vertical Mancos. This isn't even going horizontal. This is out of vertical wellbore. And so that would add more potential. But that then comes back to the Potential Gas Committee report in which we've determined that the Uintah Basin has such a tremendous resource. If we go ahead and take it down now to per well economic impact. So if we just look at it on a single wellbore, we know that from our standpoint, when you're drilling a well, we're talking about the contractors and so on, we're employing an additional 63 people beyond what our GASCO employees are in the field. Of course, then you need to complete it. That takes another 40 individuals. So you're looking at 100 people just for one well to drill and complete that are employed to go ahead and get that well on production. Then if we move to producing the well, that's easily handled by our astute field crew, and very talented, I might add, and such that 10 employees will handle our 130 wells and keep them online and keep our production going to sales. Occasionally, we need to go ahead and do workovers. Some of those workovers will go ahead and involve recompletions. We don't always complete the entire wellbore at once, so we'll go up and add additional pay within a single wellbore. That can mean involvement of another 50 people to go ahead and get that operation done. It's a small number compared to what Anadarko and what Brooke just presented, but from our standpoint in 2010, we went ahead and paid approximately $7.7 million in royalties and taxes to local, state, and federal governments. And we, like many others in this room, are also very much involved with the environmental impact statement. I'm pleased to say we're in the final stages of ours as well. It's approximately 1,400 wells scattered across our position. That EIS envisions building to approximately 10 rigs over a 15-year program to go ahead and get these wells drilled. And I think also it needs to be added that for that program to be accomplished, we need to go ahead and invest more than $5 billion into the economy to develop this. In 2012, GASCO is looking at, upon completion of our EIS, putting together approximately a 50 to 60 well program to begin developing our oil and natural gas resources. So once again, I'd like to thank the commissioners and Tammy, and just emphasize that there is tremendous resource potential out here to be developed. Thank you very much.